In the world of business situations that allow us to have a good, uncomplicated laugh are few far and between. We often remain stressed out by our deliverables and deadlines and follow ups and what's not. Not every day do we come across a leader who let their people laugh wholeheartedly and create a connected, happy, and cheerful work environment for everyone to enjoy and want to come back to. In the middle of and otherwise stressful day, I'm right now sitting with a person who does exactly that. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the chat show. Today, my guest is Trevor Smith, Chief Happiness Officer at Blue Sky Consulting and Trading. Yes, you got it right. Travis spread laughter and happiness in the workplace through therapeutic humor. What it does is innovation for our mind and body, in my view. With that, welcome, Trevor.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me on your program.
Great. So, Trevor, just what exactly Chief Happiness Officer is, and give us some glimpse of it, if you don't mind.
Sure. So let me do that first. I'll do a little exercise with everybody. So one of the things I do in my work, I do these laughter wellness programs, and which includes doing a variety of exercises that gets people to laugh and triggers laughter. So I'm going to show you an exercise that I think will be a lot of fun and you can do at home. So this is called the wake up laugh, and I'm going to be very visual about it and just take you through the exercise. Start with this exercise by putting both your hands on your knees, like your thighs, which we'll hear in a second, and then you move your hands down to your shins, or very bottom of your shoes, and from there we're going to start to laugh. So we're going to kind of go in different stages. So we're going to start by going. You tap your shins and you go. Now you tap your legs, you go. You tap your chest and you go. And you tap top of your head and you go. And you start over again. You go from you tap your shins way by your shoes, and you go. Tap your left on your knee and you slap your knee. You go. Tap your chest. You go. And you tap your top of your head. You go. And you get that great big laugh. You go. So that's really a great way to really. It's a really great way to start your day.
I love it. I love it. I love your laugh. It's so inspirational.
Thank you. Yeah.
So Trevor, with that was a great. Thank you for sharing and giving us some glimpse of your great work and how you inspire and you make people happy and feel people better. So tell us something about yourself and your interesting role as an entrepreneur, as a Blue Sky Consulting and Training organization.
Sure. So I mean, really, the way I got started in doing this type of work is years ago. In my previous career, I was a therapist working for a human service organization area up in Springfield, Massachusetts. And as I was doing my work, I was looking for different ways to improve the quality of life of my clients that I work with people with disabilities, right? Different types of disabilities. So I was looking around to find kind of innovative kind of programs, these, and somehow I came across this organization called the World Laughter Tour, and I was really curious about this organization, did a little research, and then I found out that this is an organization that trains people to do these programs called laughter clubs. So I talked with the guy who ran this organization, and I said, what exactly do you do? Do you stand up, do gags? He said to me, I program where we use laughter and humor to improve people's health. And I said, "Oh, this sounds really cool. It sounds like something I could really use in working with my clients." This gentleman said to me, "Well, we do these trainings all around the country. So feel free to come to our next training," which I did. I went through a 2-day training and all about the differences between laughter and humor and how to run this curriculum called laughter clubs or therapeutic laughter. So I brought this program back where I was with, and I started to do monthly labs with my clients. And right away, I saw a huge difference in their mood, their behavior. They just seem
So amazing.
more upbeat. They seem happier. Yeah, all the wonderful benefits that laughter brings to people. So every month I would do a laughter plan. And then eventually I started to branch out, and people were hearing what I was doing, and I started to do uh, these programs outside my regular work. And it kind of started from there, and I just kind of slowly built up my business, and I never thought I would do it as a business, to be honest with you. But it just kind of developed into something that was something I felt really important to do. And it just developed from there. I got more and more business. More people were calling me up and asked me for me to come in and do a program for their organization, and just kind of just build up that way. And then after a while, I came to a point where at that point in my career in recreation therapy, it was things were changing, and it wasn't going in the direction that really interested the field. So I made a decision of this quitting my job and doing this full time as a business, and that's what I did. And that was about 15 years ago. And I developed from there. And I just started working with organizations, profit organizations, groups, all kinds of populations of people. And that's really how I got into it. It just kind of went from there, and
Yeah,
it's been
yeah.
pretty amazing. It really
That
has.
is so
Yeah.
innovative, and I love it. I have heard about the laughter club, um, but I have experienced couple of times in past. I have not formally participated in the training. I would love to talk and have a conversation. I would love to introduce that to Rangam and Sourceable team. Um, Now, one of the thing. Trevor, you mentioned that you have worked with people with disability and people without now disability or all abilities and general population. How do you see the difference and the difference in response, the impact, and things like that? If you can.
Well, as far as the impact that I have, you mean, as far as have, uh, I think it's a lot. I would say I have impact that I think laughter brings to the people I work with, and 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 the work I do around laughter and humor. Um, I mean, to be honest with you, when I go into a lot of organizations, a lot of people who feel really they look sad. They really do.
A
A lot
lot
of
of
people look
stress.
really sad, and they don't. Yeah, they're exactly. They're all stressed out. They look really down and out. They really do. So I think program is more important than ever right now. We're right now with the pandemic going on. Whereby a lot of people are working from home still.
Yeah.
So I think the impact is really important to bring laughter into people's lives, not just in the workplace, but just in life. I think it's
Yeah.
a missing link that a lot of people don't think about laughter and how important that is to your health and your relationships. So I think it's more important than ever. I think.
I agree. Means 100%. So COVID has created a lot more stress, lot more work, lot more complex situation, and those challenges at personal level as well as at professional level. So considering that, how COVID has impacted your services, because now everybody's working remote. So do you see it's has become easy, more complicated, or how do you see the impact and like the scalability point of view? What are those impacts, or positive or negative?
Yeah, obviously it has impacted my work for sure, especially since what I do is so personal. It's so it's human to human or person to person.
Yeah,
So it's been different because in that way where you're not making that direct
personal.
contact with people. Yeah, so that's been a challenge. But I've made it work by just doing offering trainings and workshops virtually,
Yeah,
and I made it work. And being creative and just getting people. It's just getting people. I think that's important. I can do that even virtually.
yeah,
So
yeah. No,
I've been doing a
absolutely.
lot of you know um, virtually right now for sure. So I've been able to make that adjustment.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. No, absolutely. Um, So,
yeah,
Trevor, as you know, Sourceable and Rangam's mission is to create an inclusive work environment. And you briefly mentioned earlier that laughter help create non-threatening work environment. I love that. Tell us a little bit more about that. What do you mean
uh,
by? Yeah,
yeah. Thank you for that question. Yeah, it's really. I mean, what I do in the programs that I do, the workshops and trainings and all that. I really try to create a really positive, comfortable, and not threatening environment for people. A lot of people like when I do my work, people come in thinking they have to do stand up. That's the first impression I think when I come in. They're not really the whole laughter world, and, and the work I do, especially. So it's really, I really try to make a lot of effort into going, giving people to go at their own pace,
hmm,
getting comfortable about themselves, laughter, and I always say if you don't feel like laughing or don't feel like participating, you just sit back and watch and see what's going on. So I really try to create a really fun, positive, comfortable environment for people where I'm not putting people telling them to do stand or gags or do improv or anything like that. That really scares me, to be honest with you.
yeah,
Uh, so I really gear it toward making it very inclusive for everybody. And
yeah,
sometimes when people come in and I said they I don't want to do this. This is stupid. And I said, well, you can sit back and watch. And then as other people are having everybody else is having fun, eventually want to get involved eventually. So that happens a lot, where people just sit back and watch for a while, and then they get involved, and then they see people having fun and laughing, and everybody's connecting with each other in such a positive, fun way that they want to be part of that.
Yeah, let me tell you, that's exactly how I felt in the beginning of the this conversation. How you shared your method and the instructions. In the beginning, I was a little uncomfortable. After one round, I kind of got that, that pace as well as that comfortable feelings. You are absolutely right. It takes time for us to open up, and at workplace, that is so important when we talk about the culture of empathy, culture of inclusion, right? And with for people with all abilities, this part, and that's one of the thing, that's the thing we saw in your profile, and we said, oh my god, this can be a great conversation because it is very important to what
Right.
we do. And thank you for doing this amazing work and spreading that awareness on the value and the benefit of laughter. So with that, I
Absolutely.
know you have you just briefly mentioned that, and I will laugh with each other and not at each other. You briefly mentioned that. How do you ensure that, and what kind of training
Right.
do you provide to make everyone feel comfortable being themselves, perhaps being stupid at times? So what type of like messaging, and how do you build that roadmap? You mentioned briefly.
Yeah. So, right. So, what I do is I really, I'm very beginning of all my programs I do, or trainings. I say, this is what's going to happen if you don't feel comfortable. Um, that's okay. It's all voluntary. And, this set ground rules too. It's, and we're here to laugh with each other, not at each other. And I don't do jokes because of that reason. Because when you do jokes, not everybody's included. Either people are frightened by the joke, or they don't think it's funny, or it's a really stupid joke, or they don't get the joke. And so there's a lot of different things around jokes and comedy that can be very threatening for people, and that
Okay.
creates people who are, that creates that whole idea that not everybody's included. So
Mm.
that's why I'm jokes are terrible. So it's fine. um, so that's one thing I do to make sure is to get rid of all get jokes, get rid of that barrier where people are not included. So when I
Mm.
do the different exercises and games, I make sure they're geared toward including everybody. So
Mm-hmm.
everybody has a chance to do the exercise, whether they want to do it or not, in a very supportive environment. And I just take it from there, pretty much. And I really pace it, and I really make sure, and I check in with people, and make sure everybody's included, involved.
Yeah, yeah. And how long is the program? Like, how do you build this program for employers, and length and like
Yeah. So
duration? Yeah.
yeah. So usually, again, it depends on the group and the organization, but generally, what I do, the program I do, lasts about an hour,
Hmm.
hour and 15 minutes at the most. Yeah. Yeah. Because after an hour, people get tired of laughing because laughing is exhausting. Yeah. You see, even after 40 minutes, it's a workout. It really is.
Yeah. And then how do you sustain this, right? Because this can be a great start, but then how do you keep that engagement going and sustain that environment of, as you said, your non-threatening work environment? How do you sustain that? Because as you know, and this is always we talk about when we talk about hiring people with disability, that once we hire somebody, that's not end of the story. It we We just have to, as the world of work is constantly changing and rapidly, people they come and go, and now with the additional complexity of working from home and remote and all that, in that work environment, how do you sustain and continue this process of you know building that non-threatening,
Yeah.
maintaining non-threatening work environment?
Yeah. So one. Yeah. Thank you. So one of those. So one of the things I do is well, other things I do is I go in and I train people how to run these programs, like in a trainer kind of thing. And I say
Train the
these are the
trainer.
exercises. Uh, yeah, and I'd be glad to come in once a month or once a week to continue this work with you, offer this program for you. Or I could also teach you how to do this. Give you some exercise you could do with your coworkers on your lunch break or at the very beginning of your workday, and just use it that way. So that's how I really sustain it. And
Mhm.
I think this is something anything else you do in life. It's something you have to do over and over again. It's like a habit. It's like a workout. Scheduling a workout every
Mhm.
week, and this is so that's like that. So I tell people, just get together with some friends or coworkers, and you last 5 minutes. 5 minutes difference. You get some thing, and it gets you more connected, and you just have more energy for the rest of the day. Um,
Mm.
so, so simple things like that are a way to kind of sustain this type of work, and have laughing, even as I said, and it was over a short period of time, once a week or even once a day.
Got it, got it. Your voice is a little choppy, so I was not able to
Yeah.
understand, but I got the message. You mentioned briefly working with people with disability, and as you know, we work with people with disability and all abilities, but also we work with neurodivergent talent. Um, do you have any
Hmm.
experience or anything which you can share working with neurodivergent talent or people on the spectrum?
Yeah, I do. I've done a lot of work with neurodiverse um, individuals uh, on the college level with college students who are in that group.
Okay.
So I really had experience working with them and really doing different things that help them feeling more connected with each other. And one of the things
Hmm.
I've done is kind of a little offshoot from my regular laughter work is I've used improv exercises to get them more engaged with each other and having some fun and feeling like they're included. I'm familiar with that for sure, and I've done a lot of work with neurodiverse college students.
Great, great. Now, as you know, there are
Yeah.
so many initiatives and research projects happening in the autism and neurodiversity at work place. So just a thought came to my mind, and I don't know if there is anyone doing some research in this area and impact on this therapy. How um, are you aware of anything out there in the world of research?
There is. I mean, there is quite a bit of research. There's an organization called Laughter Yoga International, and I know and then another organization that I've connected with that trains people to do this type of work around laughter clubs, and they call it laughter yoga. That's how they kind of describe it. But they've done a lot of research. That's just one example. They've done a lot of research around using laughter in the workplace. And I know one in particular. I know there's a study about this company in India where they use laughter the way to start their day.
Hmm.
So there is work, there is research out there around the benefit and laughter clubs, and so it's coming along. Which is along for sure. I think it's becoming um, more credible. I think as well as more research is being done. So definitely, yeah,
Mhm. Now, when you work in the group settings, do you have like any particular format you follow, number of people as part of the group when you are doing in person? Of course, now with virtual, it might work
yeah.
very differently. So, any anything which if we have some of the listeners are thinking, any suggestions, recommendations on that?
Yeah, I think I mean, I work with groups as small as two and as large as 200.
Oh, wow.
uh, yeah, yeah. So that's quite a range, huh?
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, right. So I would say, I mean, my ideal number of participants or people who attend my programs, I would say, a really good size would be 25.
Okay. Okay. Now, do
Yeah,
they belong to
that's
the
ideal.
same
Yeah.
department or same team? Do you have any preference or any best practices? How it's more impactful if there is a same team versus cross team collaborative environment? Thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's wonderful to work with different organizations. Things I do is I have people from different departments come. You
Hmm.
know, especially if it's like a really low company and people don't really have a chance to interact with each other on a
Yeah.
basis. So
Yeah.
I think it's really healthy, and I really encourage this to say, have people from different departments come so they get to know each other and connect with each other and see people in a different way as well. So I always try to. That's one of the things I try to do. That's one of my best practices. And also, what I also try, I said, I think it's really important to have some senior leaders there, even the CEO, or that's something that is I try to do as well. I really try to promote that. Real quick story. I know we're running. I just want to make sure I can
Yeah.
get the story in. I think it's really important.
Yeah.
Is I did a program some years ago for a local bank, and there were a whole bunch of bankers and employees of that bank were involved in this training, and the CEO happened to be there of the bank, and I said, "You involved? Come over here. This is be involved with everybody else." And he was very apprehensive at first. He didn't want to get involved. So he sat by while I did the program. And then after a while, he got involved. He started to get involved, and that really changed the whole dynamics of that whole training once he got involved in a good way, of course.
Yeah.
People saw him have some fun too. So it was lead by example for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
No, that is so, and that buy-in from the leadership is absolutely so important, and
yeah.
in all the work you do. So so in this type of programs, Trevor, you work with HR, or who are you? What are the kind of people they get you involved in building these programs?
Yeah. Right. Really good question. Um, I think a lot, in most cases, when I work with organizations, it's been human resources, generally
Okay.
speaking, or
Yeah.
sometimes the CEO or one of the, someone on the senior leadership team might be the contact that I connect with.
Yeah.
But generally
Yeah.
speaking, it's most the human resource people. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I just wanted to just slide in that last question before we conclude, because that's so important that people should know how they can start, because
Absolutely.
some of this innovative approach to create and make the workplace better is so important nowadays, important than than ever before. And We work with HR and the leaders in that space. So this is a great learning for me, and thank you for
Right.
sharing some of the insights and some of the best practices and your approach and your contribution to people with disability as well as neurodivergent talent. So I thank you for all the great work you do, and thank you so much for your time today.
Well, thank you, Nish. This has been a lot of fun.
Great, great. So again, thank you everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We will continue our conversation on employment, empathy, and very similar to this. We are always looking for some innovators and some new approaches to make the workplace better and bring diversity to workplace. And if you have any idea, any thoughts, any suggestion, please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn and would love to talk. Thank you again and have a wonderful remaining of Tuesday. Take care. Thank you, Trevor.
Thank you, Nish. Take care.
Take care. Take care. Thank you, Ginger, for great work. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Hey, Ginger, I hope I didn't go too fast.